Check, check, check. Is this thing on? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Bitcoin, can it hold 75,000? Are we going back to 65? That's the big question here. I'm asking. You should probably be asking it too. We're going to find out together what goes on. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Something sounds funny today. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just my hearing is off today. Oh, there you go. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Just a little scratchier than normal. I did add some gain. Maybe that's what it is. Shout out to everybody here. Okay. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, I think there's a little gain there. Maybe a little too much gain. Bring that gain down a bit there. There we go. That sounds better. Okay. All right. Houston, we don't have a problem. We're ready to go. I know. When I'm closer, I should get red. Anyway. We should be good to go. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Let's jump on into BTC. Let's see if there's some money to be made. First thing I want to look at is my leverage account. Last night I took the night off. I hung out with family, had a really good time. You know, look out into the stars, looked at the charts, and just for once in, I don't know, years, just said, why? You know what I mean? I want to take a break. And I think that's important. My mind said, Sam, you've been doing this for thousands of days. I said, you got to take a moment for your brain, man. And so, you know, I remind myself to take a moment. Yeah, I don't know why. It sounds so different today. So weird. Maybe I have these on wrong. Excuse me. You never know. Hey, that sounds better. That's weird, huh? I was just doing that, change it. I don't know. Maybe I just had who knows? Okay. So, you know, a bit of a cup and handle trying to dig out here on the 1 minute time frame, but it's not looking amazing. Bitcoin getting pretty bearish. And honestly, you know, the only real trade I even saw today was a bear trade. So let's talk about what I'm looking at for BTC. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. It's starting to crumble. You know, we had this beautiful green candle. It would have been 3 white soldiers. Everything was going our way on the monthly chart. We just needed one more month of green, and things are going to go our way. Now we have 4 days, right, till May 31st. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days till the 31st. And I tell you right now, it does not look good for Bitcoin. That looks like a swing failure pattern. Anytime you've gotten a red candle next to a green one, specifically if you have a higher wick, I mean, just like this, that is the end. And here we had one more revisit, but that was it after the tweezer top. But I'm just telling you, that does not look good. Not a healthy pattern on the monthly. Suggests to me that there could be possibly some more downside. At the same time, I'll tell you what, man, whenever the 2-week stochastics have been low, and the fear and greed has hit below a 9 or something, a 10, it's been a bottom. So that confuses me because my long-term thesis tells me Bitcoin has bottomed. But the candles themselves tell me that's not a healthy candle. So it's kind of like, you know, well, I got to read the candle. That's not healthy, period. That's not a good candle. And it could end up being one of the first fake outs ever on the monthly, where we actually bear trap people, bull trap people here, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Nobody knows for sure. God bless everybody here on the live. Let me jump on into the live. Let me make sure I got that link going. I did. Let me pop out the chat and drag the chat on over from my other monitor. There we go. Ready to go. Nice to see the chat right there. Shout out to everybody here kicking it. Are you enjoying the stream? I am, Nightbot. Thank you so much for asking. Would you like to hit the like button? I would love to do that. Thank you, Nightbot. I forgot to do it, but I'm going to go hit the like button now. Appreciate that. I like to look at the 2-week chart. Every day I do a top-down. If you're new to the channel, this is just what I do. And, I mean, we broke out of this trend line. We came out. But I can also see this in a bit of a bear flag, right? And, I mean, that does have a measured move to the downside, somewhere down to about $50,000. I keep getting between 50 and 54K, right? But we could be revisiting some lows. We may have to touch the weekly 200 moving average one more time, too, somewhere at 61,000. There's a chance we do a giant double bottom. The weekly likes to make these giant double bottoms. It could do something like this. All right, where we come like this, and then we eventually break back to the upside, a bit of a slanted inverted that can take off. So it's not all bearish. I want to give you some hopium here, but for the most part, I mean, bang, right? And that says, what, 51,500? Or possibly a bounce off the 200 moving average. We might lose it a little bit, come back up. But the point is, just like we did here, you know, we complete the bear market, you know, and even if we do complete the bear market down to 54,000, it's really just not that bad. It's really just not that bad. So I don't know why everyone's in so much fear. I feel like we're mostly through the pain. We're through most of the pain. You see what I'm saying? Like, look at the size of the market compared to last time too. If you take let's say here a Baz pattern, and you look at the length of the bear, right? I mean, that's a lengthy bear market. And you'd say, well, it was different. It was price action, but I mean, it's been pretty dang bearish. I'll tell you that. And they shoved a lot of bearishness in a small amount of time. So what's your bullish statement? Well, the bullish statement is that this is resistance, and until you close a candle below it, it is support. So 73,000 holds on the weekly. Okay, but I mean, yeah, bearish engulfing. This candle was indecision doji. You could have went either way. It was a very odd one, but it was red nonetheless, and you were outside of the range. And had to say that it was more bearish than bullish, 100%. And I said when the 5 days below the 200, I flip into bear. So I'm in bear mode now. Either they're just going to, you know, it could be a trap, but I mean, look at the stochastics just getting started on the 5-day chart. Not a good sign. Multiple red candles on the 5-day. Now you're looking 20 days straight of bearishness ever since we topped out there at 82,000 for BTC. So it's been a battle, man. The only bullishness I see is that we're tapping the 21 moving average, which is a known bounce area on multiple time frames. The 1 hour, the daily. I've seen it happen so many times. What if Bitcoin just gets to take off out of here? This turns into a bull flag. I think it's unlikely. I feel like we lose the 200 and we drop. I mean, the 21 and we drop, but man. So already off the bat, not loving what I'm seeing here on the 3-day chart. You can see the shoulder, the head, the right shoulder in there that already kind of began to play out here for Bitcoin. So, you know, again, last resort. Previous resistance is support. You're like right on it right now. This candle closed at 74,884. So you're basically at 78.9, holding it down. If Bitcoin can stay above this level, get a bit of a bounce, today is crucial for Bitcoin. And this week has just been a nasty week for BTC. And we're getting good news of the Strait of Hormuz. It's acting like everything's going to kind of, you know, look okay. So far, it looks like they're going to end this war in a couple days. But again, every time you say that, it's like perfect time to run the gambit again and run it up. But, you know, we're getting stabilized prices. Oil seems to be okay. And, you know, the stock market's responding beautifully. Bitcoin, nada. We take a look at the daily. And, you know, I got to look at this like what's called a complex head and shoulder. Shoulder, head, shoulder. I mean, that is a complex head and shoulder to me. They dump to the downside more than they pump. It tells me that I should open up a head short and get ready for a possible dump side here down to 66,800. The measured move's pretty deep for Bitcoin, or at least tells me I can start taking shorts on the smaller time frames, and I should switch. You know, we got rejected by the 200. That daily looks horrible. I gave it so many chances here. I was like, okay, you know, we could make a nice flag here and then we'll trade there. Never got it, so we didn't trade it. I said, okay, bull trap, you know, bull, we broke out. I said, 3 white soldiers. Next candle should be green. It was green. It was looking good. Reverse nastily. Closed last night bearish, engulfing. And you had to assume once a candle closed bearish engulfing, you assume the next. See, when candle trading is simple, you just assume the rules. It's very similar to blackjack. You don't hit. He got 7, you got 9, you don't hit. You don't say, well, what if I have a 5? You know what I mean? You don't do that. Or what if I have a 3? Or what if I have a 2? You don't do that in blackjack. You have to assume he has the 10 every time, right? Oh, he's got a 19. Oh, he's got a 17. I got him beat. I got a 19. Right? You don't, like, where he has a 7 showing, you don't say, well, what if he has a 3? You know what I mean? He's got a 9 showing, you got a 6 showing. You know, you might have to take a hit there. You know what I mean? It's just like, it is what it is. You know you're going to get busted out probably, but you take a shot because the odds are he's got you beat already. So, you know, how you play blackjack, very similar to how you trade candle bodies. Candle red next to a green, you have to assume the next candle, just like you assume it's a red, it's black, it's a 10, he's got a 10. And this is good for the gamblers out there that are learning how to trade, because trading is not gambling. Two different things. That's a problem. A lot of people think it is, and that's when they get really caught up. So you have to assume this candle is going to be red. So if it comes up a little bit, that's a wickage. You look for support or resistance, and then you just short that candle. Same thing. Anytime you see a red next to a green, you have to assume we're going to dump. We're going to dump. We're going to dump. We're going to dump. Every time you see a green next to a red, you assume we're going to pump. If you trade this, I'm telling you, it's amazing. So look, this looks like a double top M. I have to be honest, man. I'm more bearish than bullish on Bitcoin here. And it's telling me that this is a complex head and shoulder that's about to take a dump. And every head and shoulder, except this one was defied. This is kind of a similar idea here on the daily. And they ended up ripping the shorts a new one. They kind of had a complex head and shoulder here. They really did. And honestly, that should have dumped. I saw it as this shoulder, head and shoulder, and we played this cup and handle and got the higher low. But we got, there is no higher low here. We would need something like this again. Right now, it tells you no. You made a lower high, lower low, lower high. You're in a downtrend for BTC. So you got to look at it for what it is. You can be a dreamer, but you can't fake the charts. The problem is our emotions get so strong, we can't out-trade them. There's people that will long no matter how bearish it looks. It's kind of crazy. Some of those people are amazing, though. They hit some crazy calls, but... So, yeah, I am no semi, but I got stopped out very similar. I just got back in because it was clear we're going down. Sounds like you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, shout out to Visualize Media 5. My man, God bless you, brother. Thank you for being here. Yeah. I also got it a year or two too late. Hey, it's okay, man. USD looks pretty bullish. That's what he says, yeah. Let's take a look at tether dominance. And there was some, look at that. I mean, it spiked up nicely. It's in a bit of a flag if you look at it here. Give it a downtrend, give it an uptrend there. And you can see it's starting to make a bit of a flag here. That could go further to the upside, maybe all the way up to, 7.9. That would be crazy. But that's a breakout. On the bigger time frames, I was saying, it looks a little exhausted, but wow. Turning up. But to me, look, it's coming to the top of the range. It does look shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's exactly what Bitcoin's doing upside down. You see it? Isn't that crazy? That's Bitcoin right there. You see, they're exactly this. Isn't it just nuts? I love it. They should be. They're inverse. This is the Bitcoin chart right now. The tether chart is Bitcoin exactly upside down. It's just like, and how are they? It's like, it's the same chart, just in, you know what I mean? One's in bizarro land. Like, it's mind-boggling. You're still a little overbought there too, but there's some legs to come up. One more pump. Looks like you could pump up there to 7.9. That's the measured move of the inverted head and shoulder, right? So this is telling you, and then there's even a flag right there. On the 1 hour time frame that in my mind just broke out and wants to pump. So yeah, tether dominance looks a bit eerie, unless you can double top right there at 717. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, hanging out with the lifer. If you want to trade, there's 4 days left to throw your hat in the ring to win one of 3 rollies here on BTCC. Jump on in, Crypto Lifer and BTCC collaborating again. Sign up a deposit, trade, and win. 3 random traders will be announced on January 7th, somewhere between the 1st and the 7th. So this looks like a short to me, and it kind of looks like I got to commit to it. Even if it reverses, I would love it if it reverses and I get stopped out. Let's go. Let's go. What I can do is I can set up a short. If I'm wrong and I see things going the wrong way, I can either cut it off with a smaller loss, And that's going to be a 10,000. To me, just to get 3 out of 4. I don't love the odds here because you have to go that low to get a 3 out of 4. I'm looking more of like almost just barely a 2-to-1 because I think I get that out at 6.8, 6.9. You see what I'm saying? 6.7, maybe even 6.7. Bitcoin will be going down to 20K in 2026. To be honest, it really looks like it might, Antos. I have to be honest with you, like, that head and shoulder does not look good to me. And it looks like it could go back to 20K. It does. Like, I have to be scarily honest with people. And then when you look at this, shoulder, head, right shoulder. I stopped buying Bitcoin in bulk, like in big bulk. I'll be honest, I started diversifying into real estate. I really did. I'm being honest with everybody here. And a part of me was felt guilty when I did it. It was like, wow, you should stick to only Bitcoin. You know it's going to be so much better. Like, and anytime I replace a toilet or a hot water heater, I tell myself, Bitcoin, you don't have to do any of this, But you know what, man? That money is cash flowing. I can see my investment for what it is. And after years of being in Bitcoin, it's nice to touch something. I'm just being honest. And a lot of people don't want to admit this. I think a lot of Bitcoiners are so hardcore, or their crypto channels, and they got to make sure that everything is crypto all the time. I did that for 7 years, folks. Year 8 and 9, I began to say, well, maybe I should put my money in a few other places. What if it isn't exactly what I thought? What if things don't go exactly to plan? Do I have any type of backup? Honestly, see, someone just laughed and said 20K. Are you kidding me? I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe. See, I'm so open-minded that anything is possible. I think, people would buy a Bitcoin so fast, I don't know if it would ever get to 20K. I'll be honest with you. But that's also the optimistic in me. I've been buying Bitcoin for a long time. I've been in it for a long time. I would not want to see it go to 20K. Just like I don't even want to see it take this dump to 67,000. I've been a long-term Bitcoin holder. To short it still, I got to peel away some connection there and say, well, do what you got to do. Looks like this will come down to the 200 moving average. Let's take a look at the other time frames here. So the daily looks bearish to me. It right shouldered. It decides to hit no way. Right? Moving average is getting tight. It's interesting. I got to be honest. Like, when they start getting tight again, it's usually the bottom. Where we could be somewhere right in here, like coming down, like just. We didn't take out the lows, remember that. And it took us a long time to put in these lows. This double bottom here down in the $60,000, $65,000 region. So I'm not so quick to be so bearish, even when it looks so bearish. You know what I mean? Hey, Sam, how's your leg? I'm keeping it in a boot for now. So thank you for asking. Yeah, the doctor said, you know what, back in a boot for 2 weeks. And he even wrote 4 to 6 on the paper. And so basically, most of the summer, man, I'm in a boot. I'm going to be in a boot because one wrong move and I'll what I did is I tore a top of my Achilles again when I was in Vegas. I tore it. I didn't tear the part that they fixed, thank God, so it didn't really affect my bigger movement, but it caused my whole foot to swell up and give me immense pain. And then I walked on it for 3 days all over the biggest hotels in the world and slammed my leg over and over again. One day I was walking to my hotel, man, all alone, and I have to be honest, like, I had to take a few breaks, and I had to be honest with myself. I could barely get back to my hotel. Like, I was cooked. I iced my foot that night and laid in bed and was just like, damn, man. But you know what? I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. It is what it is. I'm going through some tough times. I got Achilles rupture in late January 29th, and it's been, my foot is swollen all the time. It's in pain throughout the day. I suffer from sharp pains. I suffer from nerve pain that feels like someone's stabbing me. I haven't taken any painkillers, not even an Advil lately. I've just been doing my thing, getting by, keeping it elevated when I can, and doing my thing. Anyway, I don't want to sound like a whiner, man. I love you all. Thank you so much. God is with me and has given me so much. So I have to be honest, this looks bearish to me. And it almost tells me that I should possibly cover. Small time frames are tempting to dig in and bounce off 75, 74, 750, right? On a positive side, we have a bull moon coming at the end of the month. XLM had a nice pump I did see out of the corner of my eye there. We'll take a look at XLM. Thank you so much for mentioning that. God bless the lifers. Thank you for all the lifers that are kicking it with me here today on the show. We appreciate it more than you would ever know. Doctor told me I had gains of the itis. Yeah, deep inside. Yeah, got to get it out. There's no cure, but only time. You know, you got to just lay off the trading for a little while. That's the only way to stop gay night is to lay off the trading. And we hit Dexy. We hit that beautiful call for Hyperliquid. I started giving it before it broke out. Beautifully tight. I mean, the charts just tell you what's going to happen. They really do. Even Rice AI continuing to rip to the upside. That Rice is out of control. So if we lose this level, you can clearly see a dump down to 70,000. It's kind of like a free fall. Boom. I mean, it's the next bigger area of liquidity. You got a high volume node waiting for you right there. Doesn't look amazing for Bitcoin. Looks bearish. You know what I mean? I might not have enough time. So just to cover my butt right now, and if it bounces, it bounces, so be it. Right? It's like an insurance policy when I short the market, in my humble opinion. I can long back to break even. But to me, it's just that time of year. You got to do the right thing. If I saw a head and shoulder pattern, I would have to long it. You know what I'm saying? I don't love the risk to reward ratio because I don't believe I'm going to hold down to 65. I just don't. I would love to get stopped out of this and have it not play out. It would be amazing. So there it is, the $65,000 on the short. What I don't love about it is I get these pockets of math that I like to trade. And I can already do the math right now. My mind did it all, and it's a little against the math. What I mean is I like to make the movement of Bitcoin. Like, so if this goes up, I'd like to make $9,000. Because Bitcoin's going to move $9,000, right? But I got to risk like $2,000 for it. It's not the worst. Actually, no, even more than that. Yeah, see that? Look at that. Cut it in half and, go for but $3,000 on a thousand. It's just not going to be good enough for me. Not going to be life-changing. They rip this back up, and I become one of the liquidated, or and I can see it happen. I can see it. I'm very wary of the price action recently, and to buy the dump. We've already dumped. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I'm buying the dump. I saw some YouTube videos. We're going to zero confirmed. Those thumbnails. Yeah, me too. Yeah, this one guy is going to zero, and I was like, you know what? It's in a thumbnail, so it's definitely going to happen. Facts. Yeah, you're spot on. Shout out to the Golden God, man. It's something I feel like we would hang, man. I mean, we already hanging. We are hanging on the live, but you remind me of a long-term buddy. I can't explain it. Someone from the other side. Gabriel Griffith, remember? From our time-traveling days back in Mallorca. Remember those days? You were there with me, weren't you? I remember I just hallucinating again. Sam, you're on stream. Something about you, Golden God. I can't explain it. I said it the other day. I get this vibration from you. A very high vibration, too. Extremely high vibration. Can't explain it. But it is what it is. Yes, Lifer. Milligan's Travels. Shout out to Milligan's Travels in the house. My man Milligan's Travels, too. Another one of my buddies, man. Billy Batts in the house. All right. I mean, this is telling me I should short. Let's take a look at the smaller time frames and see if there's any helpful indications to push me further in. I mean, 12-hour has legs to go. They both look bad. It looks like an M pattern. It looks to me like it's, hey, we're going to dump. 8 hours about to lose the 200. We talk about this idea. The 4-hour loses the 200 moving average. Or it comes to it. The next thing you do is you come to the 6-hour, which we did. We lost the 6-hour. Then you come to the 8-hour. Once you lose the 8-hour, you drop to the 10-hour. They're at the same place. Then to the 12-hour, right? So our next destination is to the 12-hour 200 moving average, somewhere down to 72,000, 73K. That's just what's going to happen. Unless Bitcoin can get a double bottom bounce here, put in the work and somehow turn this into a miracle. Can Bitcoin turn this into a miracle reversal? Can we get the 4-hour tweezer bottom? I mean, it defied all the bottoms. I mean, There's the old trick right there. I used to, you throw it in with a stop loss below that wick. You don't have to use this wick, just that wick. And you get stopped out, you don't lose much. If it ends up being the bottom, you become a genius. Same thing here. You throw it in right there with a stop loss, there you became a genius. There you became a genius. There, not so much. This was tough. A couple of these just, it was. But you can see we've been dragging on this whole time. And I see the head and shoulder pattern right there. If you don't, I just don't want to make a bad entry here. We could bounce on this 1 hour time frame. So, the 1 hour tells me to watch it here. 15-minute 2. So 15 and 1 hour say hold up on your daily short. You may get a better entry. Let's see if we can give you a bear flag or, you never know. What if somehow we get a massive V-shaped recovery here? This turns into a complex inverted head and shoulder, and we do get that bounce. So I'm going to wait on the short of the daily, but I dang well know I want it. So I got the short of the daily now in the back of my head. I got it written out. I know the levels I want to be at. I know what the risk is. And now I'll wait. Now, if this pans out into a bear flag and then starts to drop, I jump into the daily short. Understand? If this starts to reverse and shows signs of, I look for scalps on the 1 minute. And I start looking for long scalps on the 1 minute time frame. And I look for price to crack above the 200 moving average. You see? So I'm ready for the day. I kind of have my plans for which way I want to go. And now let's look at some other stuff. You know what I mean? Now I want to take a look at some other stuff too. All right. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look-see and see what's happening. So remember, I longed the Tech 100 the other day. It was up nicely. Now down $60. It was a small long. So wow, it's up pretty beautifully. At 30,388, I was up huge. Dang. I got in at 38, so basically $80 is $60. It wasn't amazing. Like $300. It's a small trade. But let's see. I mean, that's kind of a high spike there. This price action is just so bananas lately. Everything is at an all-time high. Semiconductors keep moving. SanDisk just keeps ripping. That tether dominance could double top there. Look at this SanDisk Corporation. And I remember they make these little chips, right? This thing just keeps aping. Like, it's crazy. Like, ape at 1100, it goes to 16. Like, this is insane. In April, it was just $680 a share. It doubled from $680 in April. This is craziness. Right? And you're seeing a lot of this, man. This is hype like I've never seen. There's usually a pretty nasty crash. I mean, look, there's bear div here on SanDisk on the daily time frame. It's kind of a rising wedge. And what you'd look for this to kind of complete is a bit of a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. That's just ridiculous. Again, people have been saying this for a while. 3-day is far from the 21-day moving average. That's always usually ends bad. There you were able to connect to it, make a massive move away. Yeah, and you got 3. Yeah, now you got bear div all the way down. I mean, that's probably your top. I'm calling a top there for SanDisk, but people do whatever they want. Let's take a look at the S&P futures and see what's happening to the S&P. So S&P is still kind of sitting inside of this channel. Let's take a look. Yeah, to me, it's still just riding this tight channel. I wouldn't be surprised if we just get this kind of sideways price action for a while. And then it says somehow in the end of May, wow, look, that's just 2 days. It says how somewhere into June, like June turns bullish. Be so cool if June can flip bullish, change the whole game around. You look at the CME watch tool, it's not giving us much information. Everyone thinks Kevin Warsh is going to come in and just save the day. I think for the first part, and I keep saying this, everyone thinks you and your friends are going to do something. You guys have it all planned. You don't do what they think you're going to do. You wait. And you do what they think what they think you're not going to do. So the first time he gets in, he's not going to cut the raid because they're going to, right? He has to act independent. The headlines will eat it up. Kevin Morris doesn't cut rate. He's not Trump's pony boy. You know what I mean? They'll be able to run on all this nonsense. And that's all they need. Headlines run the world. You know what I'm saying? So they'll get the headlines. They'll feed the media. They'll get the pump, and it'll be what it was. Amen. Right? So I believe we're not going to get that rate cut. So don't be playing in that we're getting a rate cut in June or July. A good chance that we don't get it. I believe by September the what do they call the jig will be up, right? And bang, they'll cut that rate. But you never know. I'm not going to bet on it, or put my whole everything I got on that. So here we stand with BTC. All right, you've got a choice here. To believe that we're possibly reversing, which I've been putting in so much work on trying to find them, because one day we're going to, and it's going to be a big one. And I've been finding all the local ones recently, and we went on that massive run in April where I caught the bottom and we ran it all the way up. But things have changed. We topped out at 82,000. We went on a beautiful run, everyone, from 60 to 82K. If you made money with me, we did great. I made money. Well, all my travels were great. Miami, Las Vegas, things were going well. You got to remember the good times when things are tough. And remind yourself that it's not always going to be awesome. Sometimes it's going to be tough. Most of the time. And cherish the time when it's amazing. XLM pump, while everything dumping. We'll take a look at that XLM pump. I did see that out of the corner of my eye. Let's take a look at Stellar Lumens XLM, which actually hold a piece of the pie. It's pretty nice. Interesting. I mean, what I like to see is what I'm looking for. That's that Sammy special. It's inside the falling wedge with the 21 above the 200. It bounced off the 200 moving average. A bounce off the point of control. Just look at the TA. That's TA. That's classic TA. I'm looking for ONDO to do a similar bounce like this. Right? It's kind of, oh, wow. ONDO was right on the 200 moving average. You know what I mean? Now it's kind of getting rejected. You could say it's losing the trend line now, which is not the best. Kind of following the Bitcoin slumpage. As long as it keeps this higher low, I'm looking for ONDO to put in that higher low. But dang, I don't like that you have to leave that trend line now. That's a little sketchy. Seems like it's following Bitcoin a little too closely. It didn't get the hyper liquid run. We just needed Bitcoin to stay more sideways, and ONDO was going to catch that liquidity. He said Stronghold, SHX. Wow, huge move. Yeah, pump, but that it's a pump and a dump. That's crazy. Did our baby ZBCN get a bit of a move? Zebek Network. A little bit of a pump there for ZBCN. And we've been watching ZBCN inside this giant cup and handle. Right, there's your 200 on the daily time frame. I'm looking for it to hold above that and get a move. Support and resistance, it's been building nicely. And if you pull a Fibonacci from this wick to here, let me show you how. You hit Alt-F, which gives you the fib. You pull it from this wick up to that wick, it gives you the retracement back to the 786 Fibonacci. Okay. I am seeing stable. It keeps coming up every day on CoinMarketCap at the top with good volume. It does keep running up. I mean, you run that trend line. Run the top line, and you can see, okay, it's doing something. Kind of seemed like it got even more aggressive here with the run up. Sorry, I didn't mean to move that over like that. I know it's too close to my head. Let go, I say. There you go. Not amazing, kind of head and shouldery, but there's a chance in the next few days this goes sideways and then decides to start to move. See, what I do is that's on the radar now. It doesn't mean it's going to move. Doesn't mean I have to care about it. But I can add it to a watch list, keep it going. Now I got it added to a watch list. I can see what happens. Every time you add an alert, it adds to your alert list. And that's a watch list right there. I click on this and any coin that I have an alert is ready to rock. Sam, can we chart TARS AI? TARS AI, that had what, TAI? Yeah. What was the ticker was TAI, wasn't it? Wasn't that TARS? Yeah, TAI, TARS AI. Yeah, TARS protocol. You know, it could be making a giant cup in hand, a giant Adam and Eve. You see what I'm saying? At the bottom of its barrel, though, attempting to get back above its daily 200. This was cool, though. When Bitcoin was in an uptrend, some of these coins got away with it. It may not be the case if Bitcoin gets slammed back down again. So we gotta watch closely here. Bitcoin attempting a finagled inverted head and shoulder here on the 1 minute time frame. You see this kind of, it's attempting a move up, but it's not amazing. And you can almost say, well, it's in this ascending triangle here, getting tight. And these are 50%. Everyone always thinks these are bullish patterns. They have to remember they're 50%. They're very similar to the symmetrical triangle. I mean, they're called bilateral patterns by definition. If you go to the book and you even the sheet that I give you when we do our class, these are bilateral patterns by definition. Right? Level 74,565. Up here, 75,643, right? And it's looking more bearish to me right off the bat. Yeah, Bitcoin from 1801, it will absolutely go all the way down again. Bitcoin never went from 18K to $110. What do you mean? He said a 30-minute bullish engulfing candle. Let's take a look at what he's saying here. 30-minute attempting to get a bit of a bounce here. Interesting. I didn't notice that. See, the lifers, man. Always listen to the lifers are interesting people here. I don't know. The 1 minute isn't so amazing, but maybe we can get a bounce. I love watching the smaller and the bigger. I like having multiple windows open. I love kind of seeing time and space through microscopic time and then through bigger time. Like, you know what I mean? Macro, micro. Unbelievable. Technical analysis is so absolutely amazing. I find it fascinating. You know how you're like, you put time in a bottle. Like, there's a minute in time. That's what Price did in the last minute. You know what I mean? It's crazy in a way. You bottle time up and kind of measure it inside of itself. Yeah, it did 110. Go check coin market cap. Are you out of your mind? It never hit $110. This guy's telling me that Bitcoin hit $110 in March 2020. No way it did. No way it did. I was there, man. I bought the Bitcoin. I asked Grok right now. There's no way, man. He's like, AI is not going to tell you the truth. You can't trust AI. That's what they're going to tell me. That's the next thing they're going to tell you. That you can't believe anything you hear or anything you do or anything you know. Yeah. And what they say is fact. No, Bitcoin did not hit 110 in March. In fact, it never came close. Its price during March ranged from above 38.50 to its low on March 12 around 9,000 early in the month before recovering to close the month around 6,400. 110 levels were going much earlier days, 2013. So absolutely not. Yeah, I don't know where you get that information. I don't even know why I'm even like, I guess it's just. He goes, yes, it did. Shout out to Rock the Dragon. We love you, man. Hey, man, in his reality, it did. So if he believes it, then it happened, man. If he's stuck on the fact that it happened, then it did. There's nothing we can change that about it, right? Like if a man thinks he's a woman and he's a woman, then he's, that's what he thinks. There's nothing we can tell. We can tell him he's a man, but it is, anatomy, I used to recognize myself. It's funny how reflections change. Stupid, right? I actually like that song though. So in his reality, it hit 110. He might have been living in a different, he might have crossed over into a different reality right now, right? While we're getting toy right now, we're getting very toy like a toiga. Yeah. I see, but I'm certain it's yeah, exactly. Go to CoinMarket. All right. No worries, man. I got you, brother. I'm not even saying you're wrong, man. Maybe it's a glitch. Yeah. We appreciate you taking over the show, though. It's been awesome talking about 110 Bitcoin. Can we continue to get this tightness here for BTC and get the move up to 75,628? Is there anything slipping through the cracks right now that we should be paying attention to here on Bitcoin? Well, let's take a look at the markets here that Weeks has to offer, and let's take a look at what's hot and what's not. Why not, right? Let's see what's going on here. We got futures, we got gainers, Beat, Alezos, Requiem, right? Esports continues to get some love, man. We may want to pay attention to that. Something new in the game, you know, it's got some upside there. SpaceX pre-IPO, right? Which is their price actually is a little different, but it's at 179. That's actually down a little bit, but you know, we could take advantage of the low. Hey, if you think SpaceX is going to be big and maybe we're just kind of, you know, DCing in there, but that's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say and do should be taken as such. All right. Now look at the big change there. Yeah, so you got some, you know, not a lot of action, but we got some movement. Even Luna C actually starting to kind of make a bit of a move. All right. And remember, you could trade all sorts of stuff here too as well. And the bubbles. And the bubbles. All right, look at that. Luna C, the big winner right now. H back in the game, humanity. And I talked about ICP yesterday. And so far, I fended off getting into the short so far, just kind of waiting it out. And I think so far, it's been a good decision. We'll see. Yeah. Bobo, but number 2 crypto. Why on crypto bubbles? I don't know. 8 hour, 200 holding strong. Yeah, it's saying no, thou shall not go. But again, you keep tapping it. But there is a bit of a bounce there. There is a bit of a bounce there. Very high risk to get into a long right there off the 8 hours. Someone could front run it right now. Assuming the next 8 hour candle. Well, that close in, wow, yeah. At 12 o'clock, we're going to get the 8 hour close. It's kind of like, and then tonight at 8 p.m. if you get a green close. That's why I like trading the bigger time frames. They give you, you know, you set, you know, you could be like, all right, tonight, if this candle, or you could just be, you could do one of two things. This is what I would do. You do whatever makes you happy. Let me talk it through. So I'd see that we're bouncing off the 200. I like the 200 for entry. I've used it many times in my life, so I'd feel comfortable entering along there. I would. So if tonight, let's just say halfway through the 8 hour, it starts to be green like this, I'd front run it. So if it's 4 hours into the candle, when this says 4 hours left, and see how that says, you right click this, you go down to labels, and you go over to countdown to bar close, click on that. It's a hidden menu inside a hidden menu, in case you didn't know. And you're going to get the, when this, like right now, that says 104. And I got a lot of numbers here too. It's taking, you know, the VRVP. It's just taking some stuff. It's also tracking these numbers here, right? If I bring this up, it's going to bring that up or down, you know. I like it. It's a 3-to-1 risk goal ratio, just back to 76,008. These are more like my trades. See, the short that I like, it's okay, but I don't love it. It puts me at high risk, potential to be liquidated, right? This is a better trade. You know, this is where I like this trade better. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it? No. You know what I'm saying? But I like that trade better. You know, and honestly, let me just, I kind of want to just delete that 1 minute flag right now for a second. Oh, I drew it over there. I was like, I thought I drew that already. I mean, you could see it still has the vibes of a head and shoulder, but it's a symmetrical triangle, no? These are mainly bearish. And now I see kind of a head and shoulder inside of there. It's not. Oh, man. I don't know if it's the end of May, heebie-jeebies. I don't know what's going on, but the last few days, you know, just for Bitcoin has just, it's been a hit or miss type of trading day. Yeah, it happens. Every long was looking into the move. It was extremely fast. Yeah. Used to be a 60K wick down on Binance too. Anomalies or something else. Yeah. Monthly short on the tweezer top. I agree with you too. But you know, they had it 2 days ago like that, and then they flipped it back the other way again, right? So if you're just tuning in, all right, if you're just tuning in, I believe I duplicated that. I should have. I'm looking to get into a daily short on Bitcoin, but I'd like to enter it I shouldn't say this, but I'd like to enter it as perfectly as possible. Again, sometimes my attention to detail can hurt or help me, depending. I can be a little nitpicky about my entry. But for the most part, I'm looking at Bitcoin on 2 time frames, the 1 minute, and I want to look at it on the daily. On the daily, I see this beautiful short sticking here, okay? So we got 2 things cooking here, and we're on weeks, just using weeks right now. And we got 2 ideas, right? The one idea is to short this right shoulder on, and that's just kind of sticking to the script. It's a right shoulder, stop loss somewhere in this wick zone where we have 2 tops, and that's resistance. We use that as support. And Bitcoin should drop at least down to 73.5. Then if it loses that, we're talking 70,000. And we begin to collect some pay right there. And if it drops to 65, we get all the money, Will we get the bigger move? I don't believe, you know what I mean? I don't see if I can hang that long. It looks that could take time. To get to 65, look how long it took from 82 to 75, which is just $7,000. Right? If you hold shift and go sideways here, that took 18 days. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take another 18 days, but it very well may. It could take 2 weeks to get paid there down to 68,000. Sometimes the move down is faster than the move up, but, we've been kind of trucking along there. If you want to get the indicators, it's the exact same thing here. XC, anywhere, weeks, it's all the same. You'll just make sure you'll have basic here. Just make sure you click on trading view. At the beginning, you'll have basic. You won't be able to see anything. And then you'll go here to indicators. It'll look exactly the same on everywhere that you trade. Yeah. I don't like shorting into weekly support. See? Yeah. Descending symmetricals usually dump. Uptrending ones might break upwards. Ask Trump, he'll tell you the next tweet. 100%, right? And then 75,000, here we are again. And again, it's another day where I go live. And the 10 to 12 o'clock area is in chop. Very interesting. This used to be the biggest short, the biggest movements, specifically Tuesday and Wednesday. But I told you this week was going to be a mess. I told you every time we get a Monday banking holiday. You know why? I'm going to tell you a secret. Like about a year or 2 ago, I think it was about 2 years ago, we had a banking holiday on Monday, and I tried to trade right. I had a great week of trading the week before, and I tried to trade right through the week exactly like I traded the week before, and I got my butt handed to me. I did all the same strategies. I kept all the same disciplines. It didn't matter. I lost trade after trade. Liquidity wasn't there. Fake outs after fake out. Breakout, this and that. And I was like, man, I did it again. And eventually I learned, man, that when Monday is off, there's something about the week. I mean, technically this should dump. Descending triangles dump to the downside. And look, there's a shoulder, head, right shoulder there. I just got to warn you that, I've been seeing so much insanity recently. Right? Exactly. In 2 weeks, we get SpaceX IPO to pop the AI bubble. When the scary thing is, I have a kind of an idea about this when we talk about the SpaceX IPO, right? Remember when the Trump coin came out? Everyone figured it was going to be the hottest thing ever because it was Trump coin, so you had to get into it. So everyone sold everything to get in. I think there could be a mass sell-off in Palantir, a mass sell, you know what I mean? Whatever people are up on, if you're up huge and you got extra money, you're going to be like, I'll take some of this position to buy some of SpaceX. You know what I'm saying? And I just think, man, it looks sketchy to me. You know what it is, man? I'm so addicted to catching the long. I'm so much more addicted to catching the long. I guess that's how shorters feel. They love catching the top. I'm so addicted to attempting to catch the long than the short. You know what I mean? I get more. I guess I get a more adrenaline rush out of longing the bottom than I do out of shorting. It's like unsung hero type of stuff. I got to get it out of my head, I think, right? So to me, don't many IPOs don't? They do, but this one, I think people might think they have to get a piece of. It might be the IPO that you have to have. I think there's some project out there that nobody knows about. That's probably or some startup company out there that's doing something amazing that no one talks about. That's probably worth chucking a couple million. That'll turn into billions when they sell. You know what I mean? To me, I'm looking for that outside asset. Everyone's going to jump in, and maybe SpaceX is the easy money. Right? Pre-IPO could be worth, you just hold it. You hold a little bit. We have access, being crypto people, we have access to some pre-IPO. A lot of people don't, so they wouldn't trust it, understand it, know it, or even if you told them how. So 5 minute looks good. 2 more minutes to tell for show. Let's take a look at that 5 minute time frame my man is talking about. And look, you can do all your trading live on Weeks here. I got all my indicators, everything, my whole suite. Super nice. VRVP is free. Remember that. You'd have to pay for it on TradingView. I don't know, man. The 5 minute looks like a bear flag. It's touching the 21 below the 200. Bearish. That's twos that, you flip that upside down. And it also looks... kind of what I'm getting here, like a bear flag, right? It's actually got a nasty measured move, too. That goes to 73.8. Market's been shifty. Right now, they're trying to figure out who's going long and short. We got a light order book. Remember that banking is some... I don't ever trust these banking weeks, man. They're so sketchy. And it puts me back in here to this tightness. I used to go for these longs. I mean, there's a little bit of bull divvy there. It's a strong bullish divergence that defies the mini carriers. Now you got to get above resistance, though. Bit of an inverted head and shoulder on that 3 minute time frame, though. It's a cup and handle just barely. And look at this, man. We're watching tight price action again here on the 1 minute time frame today. I'll take you anywhere. Just tell me I'll be there. We don't need a plan. And I always switch to the non-voice version of this song. It's so much better. I added a third monitor this morning in case you wanted to know. 3 monitors is all you need. People have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm rocking 3 right now, and 3 is really all you need. One for your BOOKMAP, one to search the internet and look for stuff you're doing, and another one to get your charts cooking. And then you can split them across. Once I got all my trades cooking, I put up each exchange on each window, if I'm gonna leave the room. If I got a trade on BTCC, I got a trade on Bitcoin. I leave them up and I'll leave the room. And, I come back in and all I got to do is just glance at the screen and I can see exactly where I'm at. And that's the key, right? So. Ooh, excellent. Smart. Your people, I think we'll see 100K in September. Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation and hit that like button, says the Nightbot. Thank you so much, Nightbot. We love you. We appreciate you. Working so hard, that little bot. Tired little heart. Little digital heart. We looked at Tar Sam. So much gratitude. Thank you a million. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. May God bless you on this beautiful day, bro. I want to jump into this daily short so bad. Just let it cook. Sometimes you just have to let it go. Just be okay with being wrong and throw your hat in the ring, man. Scared money don't make no money, Sammy. I know. Again, take profit. If we were to get the bigger take profit, it would be at $65,000. $18. Stop loss will be at $78,196. Yep. I'd likely cut it off. If we start to reverse and we're somewhere here. But that's the thing, man. These are tough ones. You kind of almost have to, So I'd like to get the $9,000 we're going to make, I got to risk $2,900 for that. And then here I am watching these small time frames. Because I could get in right now on that big, and then boom, this thing will pump. So I like these daily scalps a lot more right now because you don't have to commit to being 100% right or wrong. It's been tight lately on these dailies. Wow, look at this price action yet again. And here we are. Let's see if anything's sliding through the cracks here as we get tighter and tighter. To me, is this more bullish or bearish to you? It's a great question, actually. And I just want to know, too, are you long or short? Are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin? I kind of want to say, do you think it's going to go back to 100K? I like this 54K or 104K, right? Bitcoin price will hit which number first? 104K or 54,000? I mean, we're a little closer to 54K already, so the odds there, the math is better for you already, but Bitcoin price will hit which number first? 104K or 54,000? And this is like a key. I just want to get as much data as I can on that idea. Where did the poll go? Is there a poll? I maybe go back to the live chat to see the poll. There it is. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the poll and let me know. It says print that right shoulder and launch it on the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, let's take a look at like the 5. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it kind of looks like a diamond too. Hold up. I might be onto something a bit odd here, but it's got some diamond vibes, no? It's got some diamond vibes. I think, you know what I mean? It's got some diamond vibes. I got up, down, not perfect, but you can see it probably regurgitate itself back to the upside. Just boom, 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 spit it out. Spit it right back out and send that puppy out to the upside. You know what I mean? Shout out to the lifers here. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you. Tap yourself on the back. Clap your hands for still kicking it. You still believe there's opportunity out here. You're still looking for it. You're still pushing every single day. God bless you. Thank you so much. I need more positivity, more positive people around me more than ever right now. Seriously, like to keep this stream alive, to keep the lifer energy going, baby. They're trying to tear everybody's life apart. They want to make us feel down and out. No way, we're not going to do that. And there's a cup and handle kind of alive in here. Sammy Cup and Handy lives, right? Possible long scalp with a smaller time frame. It's there. You're telling me there's a chance. It is there, right? Again, let's take a look at BOOKMAP for a split second. I like the backdrop today. Is really beautiful. On this big curved 32-inch monitor, you just look out in the morning. I could live on that farm. Might be a lot of ticks in there. They got me thinking about the ticks all day now. I'm looking up, you got this lemongrass, citronella. You grow thyme, lavender around your house, okay? And they don't like those plants, all right? So there's plants that naturally get rid of these bugs. You create a barrier around your home with thyme and lavender. Catnip, they do not like catnip. They run for the hills on this stuff. Interesting, right? So you learn. And, there's so many things. And then you get the lemongrass oil. You get, I think, cedar oil. They don't like cedar oil. And this stuff smells good, too. The stuff that smells the best, they don't like it. So you spray this on your shoes. There's something called permethrin. Permethrin, I'm getting it. I might say it wrong. Sawyer's makes the best brand of it. And this stuff will stay on your clothes. So I just want to let you know if you're dealing... permethrin, all right? It's a yellow bottle. It says Sawyer's permethrin. This stuff really will keep ticks away. And you put it on your clothing and your gear. If you're going camping, you spray it outside the tent. All right? Won't damage gear or clothing. You could wash it up to 5 times. They say 6. I'd say 3 or 4. And it can still propel the ticks away. So you got to be careful. You don't want to get, you will be. And I also read you can get rid of alpha-gal. You don't have to live with it forever. It will eventually dissipate, but it'll be a pain. And some people will have worse reactions than others. You have to be careful. And the thing is, after you get bit by the tick, if you don't know what I'm talking about, alpha-gal syndrome is you get bit by the tick, and what happens is up until I'd say almost 2 months later, You could be eating a steak and get a horrible allergic reaction up to asphyxiation. You could be able to not be able to breathe. So anyway, I'm in a heavy tick infested area right now. And you just got to be careful, man. I check myself constantly when I don't go into grass if I don't need to be in it. You walk in the middle of the path if you have to. You double check if there's tall grass near you. You just don't take it for granted. I love my steak dinners. I love my ribeyes. I eat so many ribeyes a week, really. It's like, to take that away from me, it's one of my biggest joys is to cook a steak and have steak with my family. And so I'm on I got my head on a swivel. And the last thing I want to see is one of my kids not be able to eat meat and go through a horrible reaction. And I got 3 beautiful daughters, and so it's on me as the father, man, to make sure my kids don't suffer. No offense. I love women, and women are in charge, and my wife does so much. But as the leader of the pack, too, that you're the father of that house, you make sure things go right. That's why when the father's, abusive alcoholic, not paying attention, drug user, not doing the right thing, what it does is it creates a lackadaisicalness throughout the house. People aren't watched as much. People don't care. But when the father's on point, sober, running around, clean, he's on everybody. What are you doing? What's going on? I mean, it pushes everyone else to stay on point. I'm telling you, you're the leader of the track. You are the leader of the pack. You are the tribal leader. Your wife looks up to you. She wants you to be the leader. That's why she married you. She didn't marry you to be the leader. She married you because she loves you and she wants you to be her leader. She looks up to you. You should look up to her in some ways. I mean, I don't know, look up to each other, but you know what I mean? I deeply, my wife is so special. What she does for my children and for me and for the family is so special. Last night, she stopped breastfeeding one of our last baby, and the baby is whiling out all night. I want a little bit. Just please, mama. I don't know how she went through it. It was vicious. It was tough. Now look, 3 white soldiers forming here on the 1 minute time frame. And now we're starting to get a little bit of an idea here of what's happening. All right, and you can see it kind of is an inverted head and shoulder fighting to get back to the upside. I'm just going to wait for my model, which is when we cross the 200. I like this person on the 30-minute, though. This has me going, and I think you're onto something. 30-minute is nice because you can get those double closes in an hour. Your stochastics are still low, and you've made a bit of a bottom here. Looks like you may be moving back up towards liquidity at 75.8. Not saying anything for sure. There's no strong div on that 30, but it is on the 5 and the 1, right? We'll see. So now what you do is you set up 2 ideas because you don't know what's going to happen. Because if you do, you're basically a soothsayer, magician, psychic, and I'm not. I don't know if you are, but I wish I was. I think I'm an intuitive. I have pretty good, intense ideas of what's happening. But so I set up 2 things. Either we get an inverted head and shoulder and we get a move back to the upside, which changes the narrative for the entire day and could change the daily candle. And this is how we could spot the bottom. Everyone else is staring at red or green candles, freaking out, but you got to zoom in to get the full picture. There's a story in every single day. In every trading day, there's a story. But you just got to look for it and begin to read it. That's why I love trading. Like today, there's another story. And again, it could be a complex inverted head and shoulder. Like there's a chance here this has started to make one of these bottoms. But I could be, what if this fills out? This could also fill out very much so into the bear flag and then take us down. So I set up both ideas. If this makes the bear flag, do I take the daily short? I mean, it may push me to. See, smart I didn't short the daily just yet at 74.8 because I might be getting a better price if we get higher here. And then I'm also willing to take my, look at that. That looks like we could bounce now. It's in a bit of a pennant. I didn't want to do that. And look, again, all the trading can be done here on weeks. Even your charting, right? So I mean, nice pump to the upside for Bitcoin. And it rips the shorts. And then you take a look at BOOKMAP and you try to see, well, what's going on here? Where's the liquidity? What are we hiding from? What are we going for? I mean, they still want blood red down there. Like this could just be a sweep of the highs, but we'll see what happens. There's something up there at 76,000. Still more longs that could get liquidated down at 74,750 right now. That's what it's telling us. But they're building. There's some shorts up there. So it's not perfect. It's not like, you know. But wow, nice move from 74.9 back to 75,167. And look, that 21 was kind of curving up with price. We got to move back to the 200 moving average. You got to cross that 200 to have this to be any bit of a substantial move. And like, you don't give up on the daily here. You know what I mean? Even though you got your daily idea, you don't give up on it. This is how, you know, you're tackling two ideas at once all the time, and then you're waiting for a probability to feed you the destination. It's not easy. This is very difficult. Trading is not... You have to use a lot of your mind and be very focused. It takes a lot of your focus and a lot of your discipline. You can't... Because if you have this mapped out today and then you go and watch 100 cat videos and forget about what you're doing, you know, you might miss the perfect time that you mapped out to make a trade. For me, to hit entries properly is to really sit and wait to map it out. That number one, I start with the day and give my subconscious mind as much as I can by doing a top-down analysis. Because that's the best thing you could do. Give your mind as much as you can. And be open. Be like, I have no idea what's going to happen today. Let me just be open for this. Look at this short squeeze to the upside for Bitcoin. And I'm not saying I even took it. I didn't. I'm just, you know, I still hold the monthly long for whatever, you know what I mean? Because I want to stay committed to it. But what a nice squeeze. That might take us all the way back to that 21, to the 200. We should hit that yellow line possibly and then get rejected. Like, we'll pop right up to this yellow line, bang, and then that will be a great place to take some profit. Because then you're going to be really far extended from the 21 and hitting the yellow line, which to me tells me good time to take some profit off the table. Sometimes these big spikes, too, are just a great place to get into a short. You know? I'm like, wait a second, where are you there? All right, there. Yeah. There you are. I was like, I knew I had another window over there. Look, you came right to this here too. Resistance, and so now 75,250 seems to be kind of holding us down, right? That was the measured move. We went to the upside. I see this pumping to the 200. Hit this yellow line. When he hit the yellow line, I see a rejection. To me, that would be a great place to take some profit. Why? It's the 200 moving average on the 1 minute time frame. Price loves to gravitate right towards the 200, smack it, and then get rejected by it. I've seen this game 1,000 times in my life. We should spike up and hit this yellow line. Show me the money, baby. Let's get our yellow line hit. Let's go from there. All right. Resistance, still right there, but I firmly, with good probability, believe we will hit this yellow line. 5 seconds for this candle to close. There it goes. 1 second, and then this next candle, rightly so, will just clean it up and hit the yellow line. How did I know it was going to do it? Because it did. There it goes. Now, perfect time to take some profits. Then we could shoot across the yellow line and go really high. But you got to remember that you're away from this 21 now. But this is a good sign. And now that 30-minute is reversing price yet again. And that inverted head and shoulder may play out. The 4-hour may start to get a tweezer bottom. We're still hugging with a higher low here. And now we just kind of sit with, and again, another symmetrical triangle, though Bitcoin's been doing this. And then, okay, if we get the bounce, we go back to the top of the range. Not amazingly, I don't think it's going to be huge, but we go back to the top of the range. Finally, a bullish engulfing candle on the 1-hour time frame. The 30-minute, like my amazing lifer pointed out, already did get the tweezer bottom, followed by a beautiful pump. Seems like you'll get to the top of this range, though, at 75.9. Not a lot of leeway. You know, my trades open up when I can see things, and I can see there's a good range ahead of me. There's not a huge range here right now. And again, just because we're getting a little move in these small time frames, we might just take a right shoulder right here and dump, right? Say there's a shoulder ahead. We might make I'm always looking, it could make a descender, right? I'm still feeling more bearish than bullish here for Bitcoin. We're definitely not out the water yet. You know, it's tight. Price action is tight. But look, and it looked like a diamond to me. So far, so good. Now what? Well, I would look at the 3 minute, the 1 minute. And if we're bullish, what we're going to do is we're going to flag out here. One or two of these ways, and we're going to come to this 21, and then we're going to get another move. You know, one of these two. Preferably this one, but either one is okay. Again, you're playing chess. Remember that. In a game of chess, you don't know exactly what your counterparty is going to do. But you make a bunch of different, you make a few different plans, as many plans as you can, then you have to get rid of the ones that don't exist. You know what I mean? You set up for, you look at all the moves that this opponent could move, and you set up for all those different ideas. Once this move is here, well, there's a few moves that probably have to get taken out of your presumptional prediction, because now the board is different than it was, and then you have to do it again. Some of them you get to keep because these haven't. Maybe you've made projections on other pieces that haven't moved just yet, and so you get to keep some of the ones and hold some of the ones. Very similar with trading. You make these ideas, you get to keep some of them, you get to hold some of them. Wow, nice pump for Bitcoin. Showing strength here by the bulls of the morning. Good volatility back to the upside after a little bit of a dump. We crawled back out of here on the 1 minute time frame. We found this kind of inverted head and shoulder, somewhat of a cup and handle. Also looked like a diamond to me. We reversed out the diamond back to the upside. We made some scribbles that look like undistinguishable items, and we're here again. All right. Hey. Dear Lord, thank you for everything you've given me in this beautiful life. Thank you for the loving nature of my wife. Thank you for all the beautiful people in the world that support this channel and support me. I greatly appreciate that. Without them behind me in my life, I don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing. So, wow, Paul even getting a bit of a riff, which I actually looked at. Bob, Rain, ICP, which I'll talk about or go over. I went over yesterday and so then we get the massive pump, which puts us above the 200. So what I do is I just keep moving this projection. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. I just keep moving the projection. Now we're starting to see what I might want to trade. Maybe there's a chance on the live stream today we get the model. We got a nice 35 minutes before this model might kick in, and that's going to be awesome. So let's see if we can get it. So now I'm going to abandon my short for now on the daily time frame because it doesn't make sense just yet. And what if I just aped the daily without looking at the smaller time frames? The daily looked good, but we don't know for sure. The smaller time frames are boss. All right, we're going to use those to our advantage. I understand the power of the smaller time frames. Right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for possible price action here on the 1 minute time frame. Right? Love this new monitor, man. I got it last year. And I don't know when I got it. I think I got it like halfway through the season, or maybe no. I think I shipped it. Might have started the entire summer season with it, but then I only used it for 2 months. Then I put it away. Went back to my home studio and did my thing, and then went around the world and did all the different things we did. It's crazy, right? Yeah, last time, since I left, and the last time I went to Singapore and then Lisbon. So here, I've back-tested this idea. There's a couple moves here. The aggressive move is to enter right now. But to me, I've learned when the 21's lagging that it can hurt me. So I've waited now for better positioning. Now again, many different things can happen here. I don't want to tell you what I'm saying is gold, and we could turn back and dump hard, and the daily short may have been the greatest thing ever. I'm always open-minded. I know I'm not 100%. So any day could be the day that I'm wrong, which is sad. I'd like to be every day to be the day that I'm right. But see, look, I'd like this to hold above the 200. I don't like when it just comes back down to the 21 again. It's not the best sign. And it can consolidate into the 200, which I've seen, recently it actually has happened a few times. Really looking for a bounce off support there on the 1 minute time frame, you see? Previous resistance, support, you get the bounce. We pull the 21 into price action. And I'm just going to set up the trade even if just before the trade even sits, just to kind of get it ready. And remember, we're going to flip this off. We're going to flip back to a long. And look how bad, it's all speculating on the probability. Then if the probability fulfills the nature of the trade, we take it. That would have been high risk to jump in right there. And it goes against my strategy. It tells me no. Now, I may change the stop loss just because that's going to change with time. Well, look, that's a 5-to-1. Right now, that's a great risk-reward ratio. $250 for $1,100, right? So this is good. This is what we want to see. We want to see this come up. We want to see it form either a bull pennant, an ascending triangle, and we have some ideas here of how to scalp it. What am I waiting on? I'm waiting on the 21-day moving average to creep into price, maybe touch it here. We don't know exactly where it's going to happen. Now, if this just turns out and dumps and the whole story's over and we don't trade it. So we set up the perfect plan and we wait for price to fill the perfect plan. If it fills the perfect plan, now aggressively you could take a long right now. I have found that I like to be perfect. I found that there's higher risk right now involved. So I know the different risks between the different entries. There's a higher risk right now. We take that entry. All right. Okay. Getting very tight too. Price action is and this is what I want to see. I want to see tight price action. What if it just zooms up all the way? That's fine. I'll do the same thing. Eventually it will come back to the 21 and it will give me a lower risk entry. I'm not trying to be perfect right now. I'm trying to get the low. I am with the entry, but I'm not trying to be perfect with price. I'm not trying to predict price action perfectly. I'm just trying to get the best entry possible for Bitcoin. And again, a lot of people are getting their butts handed to them right now. They just entered that short on that daily or some other time frame too. And it did look bearish. I gotta hand it to them. They just did what they were supposed to do. But this is deeper than we realize. This is even, there's the smaller time frames hold the key to so much. And a lot of people don't want to realize that. And it actually hurts your mind because you're like, can't I just trade the daily and leave the 1 minute alone? And sometimes, yes, you can. And if you're okay with being wrong, even when you could have been right. Wow, look at this beautiful pump for Bitcoin. Back to 75.5. 75.439. Nice solid green candle there on the 1 minute time frame, getting above the 200. Like I said, you can ape on that candle closing above the 200. And many times I've seen it become the golden entry. Let's see if we can find one back here. Yeah, right there. You just ape in when this candle closed above. Just when this candle nipped above, you got in, and the 21 may have lagged. See, the 21 was pretty close there, though. Here, the 21's just lagging a bit. Wow, they really spiked it up. And we did hit the 75.5 region. That 75.5 is just so psychological. 75.5, right? Now, again, this changes the whole trade. One thing I don't love about the trade is when the trade starts to get too far away from the 200. Because the 200 is like my safe haven for the stop. The only good thing is if we get up here, then it does extend the measured move, right? Puts it back to like 75.7. But now you're looking at a higher risk reward ratio, you see? Yeah, stop can still be below the 200. And the key is to keep the stop below the 200 and the 21. Now I'm waiting patiently. This takes time. If you have, I've noticed for years, like a candle starting to go red, oh, I'm out. A candle starting to go green, and The 1 minute can get you going, and you got to be able to breathe through the 1 minute. You got to stay calm if you're going to touch the 1 minute time frame. I'm just being honest. And if you can't handle it, you should demo trade it. You should demo trade the 1 minute until you can handle it. Okay? Okay. No, but seriously, I don't mean to be, it sounds funny, but I'm being serious because the 1 minute can get you, man. It can take advantage of your emotions, make you feel things that you don't expect to feel. Green candlestick looks a lot bigger on the 1 minute. You could take it, oh my gosh, look at the size of that. You really take into account it's $100. Take a deep breath. You know what I mean? But it can accentuate your emotions. It can be by stimulating your visuals, by showing something that's, bigger than you think. It can get you kind of like, oh my gosh. So if you're trading the 1 minute, take a breather. Stay calm. It's going to be fine. If you really want to jump into my course, I do a live course every month. We should be very close to finishing the course. I'll talk to my team about it today, but put it on the radar if we can. And it's awesome. What we did was we added Fibonacci to the course, right? A little more support of resistance. We added VRVP and just a couple more ideas here too. And we added like how to lev trade properly and how liquidations change with movement of the price action. Just like those are some things that we added to the course just to beef it up, make it a lot more enhanced. I think it's going to take double the time now to go through all the information, which is good. I think it'll be a double day class, like a Saturday and a Sunday morning, but it will be a live class. So you don't chase candles. See, you chase that green candle, and a lot of people just chase this green candle. They got emotional on it. They thought they were missing out on a big run, and they had to go in. I know better. I know you just got to wait for price action to give us the actual. I'm waiting for basically a pattern to tell me I'm going to continue, I'm going to reverse, or I'm going to go sideways and give you a 50-50. We don't know what's going to happen. And look, as this comes back now, we do get back into our 4-to-1 risk reward ratio. It starts to change, how we're playing this idea now. Depends. We could get the stop loss deeper now and keep the 3-to-1. We could keep the stop loss higher, go to 4-to-5. It's all depend on what we're seeing on the charts and what the odds are. And your subconscious mind over time will also fill in the blanks because you've given it a lot of data. The more data you give it, the better. You see? And nothing is guaranteed in trading. It's just this is what it is. Tech 100. Let's take a look here. Still flopping and groping here after that bigger move. Can we handle it? I'm looking for it to consolidate. It is in a bit of a rising wedge there on the 4-hour, making a bearish engulfing candle on the 4-hour, attempting to dig in. So this also kind of is in the same place as Bitcoin. If anything, it looks like it'll come up, make a right shoulder. I might just get out of break even here. My Hail Mary is that we'll make some type of pattern here, just like Bitcoin's doing. But I don't know if that's, Let's see. We're making a bit of a tweezer bottom. See if we can get that candle to close in the next hour. We can get a bounce for the nasty NASDAQ. But it took a bit of a beating in the last 2 hours here to the downside. We're just watching that 1 minute for entry. You see how I have to be very precise. And again, does it mean I'm staring in front of the screen all day? No. Because this entry is going to come not too long from now. Like it tells me I can put in a shift here. And it says, in basically 7 to 19 minutes. Sometimes I read a book. I keep a timer. I'll sit right here and I'll look up, or I have an audio book going. You see what I'm saying? And I'll, you can kill two birds with one stone for sure. No reason not, you know what I mean? But don't get deep in there, and then you could miss the entry too. So you want to be on it. You want to be on it. Have I seen it just pump out of nowhere? Yeah, many times it could do whatever it wants. Does it take a lot of patience to wait for the... Oh my gosh, it does. Am I fighting my emotions to jump in? A little bit already, yes. Am I good at this? Yes, I fought, I'm waiting for setup over emotion. But Sam, what if it rips? It might. I can't chase though. I want the better setup. You chase that green candle and then people, now they're rushing to get out. Someone just ran in and ran out in one set. I used to do it. I used to be that person emotionally charged by the candles. I'd be running into that candle right now, running right out of this candle. I'd be bugging out on the 1 minute. It'd be taking my concentration. I'd be shaking. I'd be all over the place. If I had any coffee or caffeine, I'd be cooked. It would have me all off, you know. Then when I finally got a good trade, the leverage was rocking too. I just couldn't handle it. I never thought I could leverage trade. Never mind in front of people. I'm telling you right now, never. It was very hard for me. Wow, now they flipped that red candle to a green one, and that thing looks, when you have a wick like that, it looks like it's just going to boom. How does that not just absolutely moon to the upside now? We did the hard part. We bottomed out. We made our move to the 200. We did our little bit of movement, and then we got above the 200. Now I want to see the consolidation above the 200. Again, just buying that candle would have paid off so far, but it's high risk. I want lower risk, better pay. And sometimes it's better off not, you don't stare at this. You set the parameters and you just, you check on it. A lot of my trading style is setting things up and just checking on that they're doing their thing. Making sure that they're doing their thing. It's like if I was a manager to a coffee shop, everyone was in place. I set everything up nicely, the morning, the shift, all the shifts are right, everyone's where they're supposed to be. And then once in a while I get up from the back and I just double check and make sure that everything is going correct. Everyone has what they need and, no customers are without. There's no spills that need attending to, nothing, nothing's off. And, manage it. Once you've set it up, it's time to manage. What if this just dumps all the way down and turns to nothing? 100% it could. I don't want, because people are like, oh, it didn't do what you want. It might just do, it might make a head and shoulder here. Like, I'm going to take what the market gives me. I don't demand the market to do anything it has to do. I take what the market gives me. Let's take a look at here on CoinMarketCap. I look at my Fear and Greed Index, not CoinMarket. That's at 25. That's not a bad place to be at, considering 5 was a beautiful buy, though. I absolutely love 5. I mean, it just told me TARS AI does look like it may make a move. It's above the 200, getting tight on the 12-hour. A chance, and you got this measured move here. I see what this guy's saying when he asked about TARS here on the channel. I'm pretty, locked and loaded here. Okay, CoinMarketCap. Let's take a look at the entire Tang. All right, so in the last hour, what's hot? Aptos getting some movement. And I want to see all these chains. Aptos, Optimus, what is it? OP. All right, I'd like to see a bunch of these get a move. Injective back to 578, up 12% in the week. Even Atom getting some love, which is great to see. Celestia up 14%. Near Protocol up 53. Finally got that pullback. It wasn't going to go up forever. Fetch. I got a call for Fetch. I like it. It's up 27% of the week. It's up 2% in the last hour. Shout out to anyone that jumped into my Fetch call. It boomed after that. Aerodrone at 43. I like Aero. Ton 191. Nice little pullback after the pump. Render 18% of the week. It's not an amazing altcoin day because, everyone's kind of wondering what's happening with BTC, all right? And we got to kind of maneuver our way here through Bitcoin. So here we go now. Now, this is a place I may get in. Why? Because now we're above the 21 and the 200. And I don't have my pattern per se. It's not perfect yet. But I could front run this adjustment because there's just a chance that I'm going to be absolutely correct here. We get the bigger move. 4-1. The stop loss is barely below the 200. There you go. I get a 3-1 below the 200. And I just opened this up and look at it very closely. I just got more lines than I want. I'm going to delete everything again. I want, and honestly, I've even seen this as a bull flag that just absolutely does damage. It's coaxing me in right now. The only thing about my strategy is it's like you wait for about a 4-minute window, and it's not easy. 75,938 now. Stop puts us at 75,236. All right, here we go. Buy that red candle would be epic. You buy that, it turns into a wick, you get your next. Ooh, see, you wait it out. And there you go. I mean, this could head and shoulder and never turn into what I'm looking for. Look at that. Rejection by 75,440 here. A little bit of a divergence there too. A little bit of bear div as this swings up, that swings down on the RSI. Now the battle at the 200. Now this is rare. See, like if you're bullish, this doesn't happen. You know, you don't get it like not like this. I'm always open, fine. Maybe you're getting a bounce like so. This would be cool. Some type of inverted head and shoulder. But it could also be making the right shoulder, like right shoulder, right? So now you're looking to see if it does boom, back up, goes sideways, or right shoulders hooks down, or even just hooks down. That's a great way to trade because if you don't get what you're looking for, I mean, that almost wrote me in. It was close, but there was a cautionary tale to wait there. Man. So nothing crazy. I want to talk about something today that's getting a lot of buzz. All right. And that's the Tron, right? Which is interesting, right? Of all coins, but Arkham maps Iran central bank wallets after 344 million USDT freeze. Arkham's new map links OFAC sanctioned Tron wallets to Iran central bank, putting Tron's alleged on-chain reserves and counterparties in full public view. Blockchain analytics platform Arkham has published what it says is a public on-chain map of crypto wallets attributed to Iran's central bank, making a pair of U.S.-sanctioned Tron addresses publicly searchable for investigators and wider public. Arkham saying that's where the money is on TRC. Justin Sunlink Tron says it can't monitor and investigate every user, as reports suggest. Iran crypto exchange moved millions on-chain. Iran's leading cryptocurrency. So since Iran war, blah, 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 further analysts indicated from January, Noblex widely used sanctioned Iran institutions as well as ordinary citizens. Processed in excess of $2 billion on the Tron network. Wow. Tron was created by Justin Sun, a Chinese-born cryptocurrency billionaire who maintained deep ties with World Liberty Financial, a decentralized finance platform owned by Trump. However, the relationship has turned sour lately. Yeah, they've been pissed, right? Tron said it cannot monitor and investigate every user and every transaction on chain, and the means to monitor and block illicit activity lie elsewhere. However, it pointed to its initiatives such as the T3 Financial Crime Unit. Interesting. Tron passes 27 trillion, right? A massive on-chain milestone nobody expected. Tron volume surpasses 27 trillion. The total transfer volume on Tron has surpassed $27 trillion. It's insane. I mean, TRC20 is the best way to move. Coinbase CEO lists 8 areas where global finance still needs an update, right? And you can read that and go into it. But it just, it kind of makes me think there's shakiness for the Clarity Act there. It's a foreshadowing, that's all. Tron climbs to the highest level since 2024. As OKX adds their perpetuals too as well. So let's take a look at Tron, see what it's doing on the bigger picture. We actually had it mapped out last summer and even throughout the beginning of this. Yeah, there you go. I have it right here saying, look, I mean, it looks like it's going to break out. I see it headed to 47 cents, and Tron's been in its own bull run. If you've been holding Tron, you're not down. It's been going up since August of 2024. The rest of the market just never recovered from there. It did make a high find of 47 cents, 45 or whatever, but I mean, since then, it's just trucked along. Went from 28 to 38 since March 20th. Slow, 50% move, but hey. And it was mapped out by the moving averages. We could see this. And Tron, man, continues to kind of gain some steam here. Very interesting, right? Something you didn't expect in this bearish market. Bitcoin attempting to get back above that 200 and hold some. It's another area I would look to possibly adjust, Get that move, break up, come back down, hold the trend line. sketchy business. Another tough trading moment. And again, this end of May area I think is going to have people kind of sitting on the edge of their seat. Whether you're a trader, long-term investor, DCA, everyone's like, are we breaking down forever? Or are we going up? It's like, we're at such a key point for Bitcoin. Will it be a hot summer? Will it end up being a dumpy summer? You know what I mean? A lot has to do with today on this 1 minute candle. So crazy. The key too is not to give up on your original idea. Like once you're kind of set in stone what you want to do, just stay on that idea till it gets invalidated. Like I'll be stubborn about this $4-minute flag until I know I just can't. Like once this starts to drop, then look, it does look like a shoulder, head, right shoulder. My only weakness is sometimes I might miss that bigger short on the daily, right? But that doesn't mean I can't make money shorting the daily on the smaller time frame. But like, should I be taking this lower high and getting into that daily short now? I just get more of a rush of catching that bottom than shorting, but that's just how it is. Resistance at 75.45. Funny, there's like birds in this song. You hear it? I wanted to look at ICP here. I gave a call for ICP. Said it was likely going to break out. And it did that. Shout out to anyone that took the call in the trading group. Absolutely nailed it. So bang, 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 shebang. And it actually looks like it's consolidating for possibly more. Why ICP? Well, it had a bigger following. It was one of the only coins from the last cycle that actually people still believed in. And I knew it could get volume. And so when I went over the charts just last night, I was looking for anything that could give you guys an edge. And I'm sitting there looking for my lifers, like scanning. Alerts went off. I like the setup better now. This was at 9:30 last night. Enter ICP right there at 272. And it ran up all the way to $3. So it made a beautiful, about 10% pump, 12%. And it's actually still sitting pretty right there too. So shout out to anyone that took the call, did not hit the stop loss. It was beautiful. Let me show you the call here. It's right here. I can click on it. It'll take me to it. Can even jump to the post. Yesterday at 9:36 p.m. You're always on my mind, man. If you're in my trading group, you're paying $3 a day, $99. You're always on my mind. And I'm looking, scanning, and busting my butt every day until my eyes hurt, till my hands hurt, to make sure I find a setup that makes it happen. And that setup was like the one setup that I really went in on. Right there yesterday at 9:30, right? I tell you, the alerts went off. I like the setup now. You know, so what I do is I back test with years of information. I collect the data. I slap the data on the chart. I wait for the chart to express a high probability setup, and I take it if it comes. Nice pump here for Bitcoin, really justifying. Wow, that's like, this has been an interesting couple of minutes here. Now, see, now we're with the 21, we're above the 200. Now things are starting to make sense to me. I didn't get the go ahead, and look how this is taking longer than I thought too. Okay. It might take 45 minutes for me to really get to the end to figure out when to add to this trade or not. I'm using time frames to give me information. Information is coming from the charts. It's not coming from your emotions. You're not coming up with the information. You're interpreting it as it comes. The more balanced you are and less, off base, like if you're on 100 Zins, you're doing caffeine, you're doing all this stuff. I mean, I do whatever you want. I'm not trying to be your dad, but I guess, I want to be your uncle. No, but seriously, I don't want to, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life. I'm just saying the less stuff we have in our, in ourselves for that moment, the more we can see what the charts are doing to us and assess, right? Like if you were riding a jet ski every time you traded and you were getting the adrenaline rush of a jet ski while you traded, You see what I mean? And then, you might not understand what trading's doing to you. Such a really weird example, but I think it works. Like, it gets my point across, and that's all that matters. I'll tell you what my dad told me, some good insight. He said, you may not win every day. And you may not, he equated life to, when you see an old man get out of the water and he has a boat and he has to pull the boat up onto the beach because if he leaves it too close, the tide could get it. So let's just say your life is like that boat and your bank accounts, getting to the top of that beach is like the winning. And my dad said, every day you might not pull the boat up at all. Maybe it moves just a bit. He's like, but as long as at the end of the month, the end of each week, you can see that you pulled that boat up just enough. That's all you got to do. And it was just telling me, life is a long journey. It's also short in many ways, but, building a business, putting things together, everything takes time. And once we realize it's going to take some time and we're willing to put in the work, we can be relieved of the pressure. Think about it. I have to do this. It's going to happen. You're going to get there if you put in the work. You're going to become a great trader if you put in the work. I sat here this whole time waiting on a setup. That's a beautiful live stream. Why? Because it showed that you don't just do what you want. You do what the trades tell you what to do. Yeah, someone could have someone might have just hit this bounce right here and just went at it crazy. I don't know. Maybe I don't know their trading style. Maybe they shorted and longed and hit big gains already. That's not my trading style, right? So I stick to what works for me. And I stick to patience and planning. And I map it out, right? Is it easy? No. Having patience is not easy. Because you know why? It gets better with time, but the want to abuse that time still exists. What I mean by that is no matter how patient I've been in my life, I still have to use patience. Why? I just had a perfect realization, an epiphany. If I didn't have an angst to get in right now, I wouldn't have to be patient. I would just be like, I would have nothing. I would be like, but because there's an angst to get in, there's an angst to trade, there's an angst to, I have to use patience, right? So I'm interested. It's, my whole point is it exists no matter what. Look, that's kind of head and shouldery now, right? See how fast you can shift. A second ago, if this candle turned green, went up and went sideways, it's not a head and shoulder. Now it looks like a shoulder, a head, a right shoulder, see? That fast, things have shifted. That quick, you can say, well, now that wasn't my plan, so I don't know if I'm going to jump into that short immediately. See, that's the one thing I don't pivot into. I might not pivot into the next idea, even if I see it. But wow, look what they did. They faked my model out, which is like a known model based off of, like, that's what a lot of algos go after. It's not just me. I didn't pick it up from myself. The reason why I was able to identify it is because it existed. It's a pattern that many people are using, so I'm catching up on it. I'm just picking up the pattern. You see what I mean? Now you got to bounce off that 200. Like, you got to save the day there. And that's chop. Look at this. That is just chop. 1 minute chop for the last hour now straight. We've been in chop. I feel like I've been saying that a lot on the stream from 10 to 12 recently. We did get a nice bounce. The trade was right there. That was the move. Just like yesterday, we got one big move similar to this on the 1 minute. And that was about it. Look at them look at the price action attempting to bounce here. Attempting to save the day. I'll be waiting if it happens, if it ends up playing out like it should. I'll be sitting there waiting. Send it, baby, send it, right? Who knows what it's going to do. Look at the bounce off that 200. So crazy how this stuff works, even on intricate time frames. Wow, look at that bounce. I'm just seeing what can we get there. Dang, man. Higher low now there. Remember that 30 minutes showing signs of a bottom. You know, I'll be honest. Price action's been crazy lately, but it's really fine-tuned my skills to be extremely patient. And it's only made me a better person in all aspects of my life. Like, I'm more watchful in everything I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been more watchful in my trades. So we just sit and we wait, we think it through. Like, I like it. It kind of defied, because that could have been a right shoulder, but those two candles are okay now. Give it some breathing room here. I'm live trading on weeks. If you want to jump in on weeks, you can do that. We make it very simple and, and amazing. Also, the fees are amazing right now, so jump on in. Take advantage, all right? Especially if you make your trade and get it on a limit order. Amazing, amazing. Let's take a look at the fan funding here. Can you check GFI and give scalp targets, please? Check this out, Lord of our only V do a Rainforest Foundation. I'll take a look at it when I can, man. I don't like to put out contract addresses that I haven't done my own research for. I love you, though, and I don't mean to be rude. Please respect that. Mad love to my boy Samster, the best peer. God bless Vegas Claw. I love you, man. Thank you. So much gratitude. Thank you. Let's take a look at GFI scalp targets from my man while we wait for BTC yet again. Nice call there on ICP in the channel. And again, that's what you pay for if you're in the trading group. You're going to get more and more of these setups. And, look, I've switched to altcoins really fast. If anyone's, I can pivot quicker than anybody, man. Once I start seeing there's a price action movement, I'll slap my stuff on it. I'll start scanning the market, and I'll work my butt off for you. I've been scanning altcoins 4 or 5 hours a day recently, up at night, during the day, no matter what. I've been putting in that work. So if you want a guy that's never going to stop working for your $3 a day, that's me. 7 days a week, I got you. All right, there's no better place. Go to cryptolifer.com. We make it so simple. Go to the website, hit subscribe, and jump on into the quarterly, the annual, or try our monthly subscription. And if someone say, I need it for free, well, show up every day with me. And I'm here every single day on this live stream. And if you can't get the, what I say is I can give you enough education that should be able to help you make money for free on the channel. From there, you can use what you learn from me to gain enough to join the trading group. So like I start with the value right here, right now. I'm giving you free value right now as we speak. You can use that free value. It's up to you. And you can take it to the bank, So you start, and that's how you should run every business. That's a great way to teach people how to run a business. Give value away for free at first. Still got a ball of liquidity down at 74.4. This may not end well. We're starting to get the pump, though. That's actually looking good now. That's technically the model. That says I can enter that trade. Everything is there now. We're consolidated. We've made double bottoms. We're above the 21. I can put my stop loss below the 200 and a piece of the trade. I can move this up there. It's a 3.5 risk to reward. That gets changed to 56. That gets changed to 127. See, it's very subtle differences, but those numbers matter. I don't love the low volume weekend, I'll be honest, but let's see. We're getting a little tighter inside this. I waited literally 45 minutes just for this, and I could wait 45 minutes, enter the trade and lose. That's the most funnest part about trading. You can put in all the work and still not make any money. My key is, am I doing my disciplines every day? Whether I win or lose, am I doing my disciplines? I know I'm not going to be right every time. I don't expect to be. Am I doing the right discipline every time? That's the one thing I can't control. I can't control whether I'm going to win or lose, but I can control whether I listen to my trading style. That's what I can control. Control what you can in trading. The rest is up to trading, you know what I mean? Like, you can control your stop loss, which means you can control what you can lose from a trade. I know the exact amount of money that can be lost on this trade. $307 if I so choose. Right? I'm going to take it just because I really like where we're at, but I might lose. It could come back down. I took the trade. Let's see what happens. High risk, high reward, man. It'd be nice to catch a win, baby. I took the night off. It'd be nice to catch a win. So I leave you with this live trade. If you want to join the trading group to find out what happens, go to cryptolifer.com. There's other price action. There's other coins that we're looking at. It's not just Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at GFI real quick for the super chat that got put in. And GFI is RWA as well, right? Huge. You said scalps. I mean, it pumped up big there, right? It bounced off the 200 moving average on the 12-hour time frame. So you're back, okay. It seems to be making a bit of a base here, like where it could break out. Okay, somewhat. 1 hour just kind of came out of nowhere with a break above the 200. You could say it broke out of this little, like, almost a descending triangle that went the opposite way. I mean, if you're really looking to scalp, I feel like your 15-minute would be your guide, and, you know, I'd have to wait. Again, the same idea. Wait for us to get to that 21. Then I'd reassess the situation. Yeah, I don't know exactly how and what you're scalping there. Oh, that trade went nasty immediately, like right back to the 200 moving average, like so crazy. Like the second I got into that trade, red candle. Honestly, man, I've been having the trading has been insane recently. It's just been choppy and very difficult. Even for me, I've been fine-tuning entries, and it's been more difficult than ever. When I do that, I just lighten the load. I trade lighter. You know, I make sure I can't lose a lot. I don't go to get liquidated. You can get angst that time, and then you go all the whole portfolio and lose. The best you could do is take small losses, stop, you know, maybe even pause trading for a bit. Dang, man, I needed that breakout. I didn't need it, but it would have been nice. It's red candle immediately. So insane. And I may miss that daily short that I should be taking, right, and get the dump. So I've come up obsessed with what I do. That's what I learned, too. When you get obsessed with a trading style, it's going to get in the way no matter what. Dang, now I got to hold that 200 there, or they're going to come for me. Man, that thing went against me immediately. And you'll get into trading ruts, too. I'll lose 4 straight, 3 straight, 5 straight. And you'll get discouraged sometimes. It gets in your head as a human. You're like, what's going on? Just got to take a break. Come back in a couple days. Reset your mind. Realize that not every loss is everything. Every day is one day in thousands of days. And don't put so much pressure on every moment. And you'll be okay. But it gets to you. Don't get me wrong. It gets to you. It causes emotions. It causes pain. You're like, tarnation. We'll see. We're low stochastic. It's not over till I get stopped out. But dang, man. Crazy move right there. Immediately. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Thank you so much for jumping on in. If you want to trade where we trade, you can hit the links below. Hit the links during the live stream as well. Shout out to Weeks for always being there. Appreciate it. Shout out to BTC for the Rolexes. Shout out to every single one of my partners. Shout out to BitConnect. They actually just gave me a care package. I'm going to open it and show you guys on Twitter what's in there. I don't know, something, it showed up yesterday or something. Might have got there. I don't know when it got there, but it was a package there when I showed up today or the other day, and there it was. So shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. May God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much for this time. God bless. Shout out to everybody here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for pushing through. Summers are going to be tough. We're going to make it together. I love you, lifers. Thank you so much. And I'll see each and every one of you tomorrow. We're getting a little bit of a bounce off that 200. We'll see what happens. Scared money don't make no money, so it is what it is. We'll find out what happens in the trade. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.